Welcome! Today we're going to visit the Netherlands. Not by boat, that would be a little far, for now at least, maybe in the future. Gonna leave Limonada here for 10 days. A little nervous for that. All the hatches are open, the dinghy engine is inside. Yeah, I think this is good. Since I own this boat, I have never, not even for one night, left it alone on anchor overnight. The reason that I have everything opened up is that there on the 10-day trip from Dominican Republic here, a lot of water came in and I want to dry it out. And also we let a cockroach bomb go off. I'm pretty sure I don't have any cockroaches. I had them about 6 months ago, but now because I'm going to leave for such an amount of time, it seemed like a good idea to do it anyway, so that I make 100% sure I don't have any of those on the boat. In the end of this video, we're going to see if everything is okay with the boat. I'm going to fly home from Martinique to the Netherlands for about 10 days to see my family. And I do have somebody occasionally looking after the boat. So yeah, it's early morning. My neighbor is going to give me a ride to shore. Welcome in Utrecht. It is cold. Today I'm going to walk around Utrecht and show you a little bit of how a bigger city in the Netherlands looks like. It is autumn. I love the colors of the leaves right now. I am at the grachten, the bodies of water that run through Utrecht. If you want to try a tongue twister, try to say, Huub is in Utrecht bij de grachten. Huub is in Utrecht by the canals. Back in the days, goods were transported through these canals and then they were stored in places like this. Nowadays, all these places are restaurants and they open, I guess, in the afternoon. I really love the architecture of the Netherlands. I think it is gorgeous. Due to our strategical position, trading has always been big business in the Netherlands, and many of these houses were built by wealthy traders. The center of some of these big cities are formed by rings of canals, with mostly 17th century residences of wealthy merchants. And of course also banks, doctors, lawyers, etc. Because of lack of space, you see that most of these houses are pretty narrow. These residences often also served as businesses, and even now the bottom floor of these houses are still businesses, as are the cellars these days. It is later in the day and now the restaurants are open. Now my mom would love to show us her acting skills.
Hello guys. Here is the mother from Huub, from the Netherlands. And we live in Zulen, and in our backyard we have here the castle of Zulen. And I'd like to show you that because you can see the difference with your country and our country. Today it's a very nice day. It is autumn and it's almost 20 degrees, so that's very good. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd like to hear from your comment. Thank you very much for watching this. Doe ik het goed of moet ik het nog een keer doen?
No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It is autumn, which is a beautiful time with gold-colored leaves falling off the trees. I like to tell you a story about my mom. My mom's turning 65 this year. 5 years ago she had breast cancer, and one of the things at the time recommended was to talk to a psychologist because too much stress is a factor that is not good for any disease, and that's where a psychologist can help with. And one of the things that came up was that for years she has felt regret about how certain things have happened in our past. There were things she liked to have done different. I'm pretty sure that counts for all of us. What I'm about to say, she already knows, but I would like to repeat it here once more. The biggest gift I, as a son, can give is by saying to my mom and dad, I love you. I am sorry if you ever felt like you did something wrong. I forgive you for any mistake you think you might have made, and thank you for putting me on this earth. And I wish you and everybody else watching a very long and happy life, just like you and everybody else deserves. Today I am in Buren and I want to show you a little bit of a typical town in the Netherlands with my mum. A long time ago, people found out that living in a big group gives a lot of security. That's when villages like this started to exist. Some of them grew bigger and bigger into cities. Nowadays, because the majority of the world is very safe compared to a couple hundred years ago, a lot of people, including me, decide to live a bit more nomadic again. I am very curious how this will develop in the future. I truly hope the world will become safer and safer and people are more and more able to live a life out of choice. Did you know that the Netherlands, after the United States, is the biggest exporter of agricultural products? About 95 billion euro, or dollar, as the dollar is pretty equal to the euro these days, per year. Mainly flowers and plants, but also meat and dairy. Oh, and we're also the number 3 exporter of fruits and vegetables. Amongst others, we export many eggs to the States and apples and pears to Vietnam. So if you're in the States and next time we're eating a fried egg, it might come from a chicken in the Netherlands. Why is the Netherlands such a big agricultural exporter while it's such a small country? Our land is very flat and the soil is very fertile. That together with a moderate climate makes for good farming conditions. This is a poffertjes, kind of a pancakes, and it's very Dutch. Tiny pancakes with powdered sugar and a lot of butter. In the Netherlands there's a massive park with all kinds of old buildings from different eras that actually really were in some other location and have some kind of special history, and they literally relocated the actual building to this massive park here. The park is pretty close to my house and I never knew of its existence, and I'm really enjoying being the tourist in my own country. So today we're going to do a little history lesson in Dutch architecture. About 500 years ago we built farmhouses like this, a beautiful wooden structure where the walls were filled with clay and a few other ingredients. The clay was quite easy to find because there are a lot of rivers in the Netherlands. At this time animals and humans were living under one roof without separation wall. And that turned out not to be very healthy for us humans. Because clay was quite a bit of maintenance and not very resistant to heavy weather, we started to take the clay filling out and fill it up with bricks. Here you see a bit of the interior of that house. Then we started to build houses completely out of bricks. We used to build a lot of houses with thatched roofs. Nowadays we still do, but most roofs these days consist out of bricks or tiles. Later, due to automation, the use of machines, one farm could operate a lot more ground area. The amount of operational farms decreased, and about 50 years ago, a lot of the old farms that weren't running anymore were turned into one gigantic luxurious farmhouse, like this one. The Netherlands is also very famous for its windmills, originally used to pump water out of the land. Because the country is below sea level, farming used to be difficult because the land often got flooded, and windmills were used to pump the water out. Later on, mills were used for other things like cutting wood or grinding grains and other stuff. As a memory of today, for a limonada, my mom bought me a
windmill.
Dutch windmill. I didn't film too much because I wanted to spend most time with family without camera. Here's my dad's side of the family, and I especially wanted to mention on the left my twin sister, who I grew up with for the first 20 or so years. It was short but powerful, and it's time to go back, and hopefully everything will be okay with Limonada. I hope to go back about once a year from now on. It was really nice to spend time with family. It is early in the morning. I'm back in Le Marin, waiting for my ride to go back and to see how it goes with Limonada. I went home just with a backpack, and I'm taking 23 kilograms, 46 pounds, back with me with electronics and clothing. Back at the boat, it is raining and everything is looking good.